Welcome. I greet you in the love and in the light of the one infinite creator. So this is the second trading session for 2022. And this is your markets. Today we have seen the S&P 500 and the Dow move to fresh all-time intraday highs. And depending on where they close, could also be a fresh all-time daily closing high. For now, Ethereum trading at 38.74. BTC trading at 47,376. All right, let's take a look here. We can see the Dow at the highs of the session. So let me update this. And we can see that the Dow is definitely looking to add on to yesterday's breakout gain from a daily perspective. So it looks good from that perspective. The bulls should be encouraged. I'll come back to the Dow at some point, because there's an aspect of this move that could actually confirm strong upside potential. Keep in mind that the Dow is still within this potential for resistance here. If, and let me say if, because we haven't seen the evidence of it yet, but if we end up reversing here and confirming resistance on this line, then this becomes a reversal area. So it's just something to watch. But for now, the Dow is definitely in control as it records fresh all-time highs. S&P 500 also at a fresh all-time intraday high for today. Right there. And yesterday also closed at a fresh all-time daily closing high as we began 2022. Now, the S&P 500 clearly has this line here, by the way. These two charts are the 6 months daily. So the S&P 500 is still within potential for resistance on this area. In other words, we are making fresh all-time highs. Your RSI on the daily for the S&P 500 has yet to move above 61.8. So that in itself, if we end up seeing a reversal around here, would suggest that this is where we stall at the beginning of 2022 and we see the market pull back. Maybe a short, healthy pullback, maybe an aggressive beginning of a bear market. We don't know. Those types of big decisions later on would have to come when we break major lows or major support lines. For example, if the S&P 500 is to go into a bear market, first and foremost, it's going to have to stay and drop below the 50-day moving average. So we are ways from making that visual understanding of where the market wants to go. All we can see for now is we are trading with a very bullish stance. And as long as we are breaking out on the daily, this still remains a strong market. Now, a 6 months view of the NASDAQ daily. Now, the NASDAQ is down about 0.6%. And if we take a look at this RSI level and this daily closing high for the NASDAQ from November. Now, of course, I could draw this following trend line as such. That is valid because you might say this is the high of the RSI. But from an educational standpoint, I need to clarify something here. So if the RSI touches 69.1, and we can see this is more relevant, it is more relevant because this is the actual daily closing high. So our trend line in effect should come from here. And we can see that the NASDAQ is responding to this level as of right now. Now, it could be that eventually this becomes a breakout for the NASDAQ or a breakout setup. In other words, right now we are seeing the NASDAQ showing resistance on the RSI top side. But it could just be setting the stage for an eventual breakout above this area. But for now, it is suggesting that the NASDAQ is pointing down. Expect a big down day to day, to begin the year, whenever the NASDAQ drops below 50 on the daily. Now, the NASDAQ is also coming back. Remember the line I drew in the weekend market analysis video edition. So this is where we broke down in the short term for the NASDAQ daily, as discussed over the weekend. And so this break line here is essentially being tested. And again, we can see that the NASDAQ has already responded to this area a couple times here in late November for that reversal area here early December. And again, over the last week or so, we've tagged it twice, and now we are responding again. So as long as we are below these two lines, the blue and the previously drawn red line, this market could be setting the stage for a pullback as far as the Nasdaq is concerned. Now, if you take a look at this hourly chart, which should be available to you as clients via the charts link when you go to moathe.com. Now, I talked about this in the weekend. Again, this is the hourly for the Nasdaq, and we had a break here. Since that break, this seemingly has become where the Nasdaq's been stalling in the short term. And so this is just a challenge. Doesn't mean that it won't eventually clear this, but for now, visually, this is where it's been struggling. So as long as we are seeing difficulty in moving above this line, we are essentially pressing the agenda for a down move higher. And of course, at some point, if we're going to move higher in 2022, we need to clear this area of the daily price corresponding to this break here. By the way, back to the S&P 500, if we take these lows from yesterday, given that in the short term, this is a base that was formed in the last week, and we see yesterday we broke out, essentially, effectively closing at a fresh all-time daily closing high for the S&P 500. We can see what I'm saying here is if we end up breaking the lows that were recorded yesterday, that would be a break below the base. And that in itself, in my opinion, if we break this area here, which are the lows of yesterday, and for the S&P 500, yesterday's low was at 4758.17. So if the S&P 500 ends up breaking this low, in other words, visually it would be breaking the base that was formed from the last week or so, and a break below this level is something to watch, because that would signal a market due for a pullback given what we are discussing here. By the way, on the 4 hourly for the S&P 500, as we record this move here, you can see the RSI is still showing potential for resistance on this line here, which again is just under RSI 61.8. All I'm saying here is this, it looks to me like we are starting to see early signs of a setup for a pullback, is what I'm saying effectively. Because if we end up rolling over here, and if this is confirmed again, then as we have recorded fresh daily closing highs and fresh intraday highs for the S&P 500, the RSI has been making lower lows, and more importantly, right now the RSI is being rejected around that area of RSI 61.8, both on the daily and the 4 hourly for the S&P 500. Now, quick look here, because I want to take a look at the total crypto market. Ethereum again at 38.72, BTC at 47.317. So the cryptos are essentially moving higher, and we can see the stock that, or the crypto that I gave you as a breakout candidate yesterday, is up about 10%. So some cryptos are starting to show life, but the inspiration for this video actually, even though I've been discussing the general market, came from this chart. This is the 4 hourly for the total crypto market as furnished by tradingview.com. So what we're going to do here, oh, by the way, I should point out RSI here I'm setting is 14 for this 4 hourly chart. But the inspiration for this video is as the cryptos are moving higher, we can see that they are coming back. If I take the lows line here and here, we get this break area here, which is now coming back and acting as a backtest area. The other view is we can also take this 4 hourly break which is again this area, And we can say that we are coming back to test that area. So that is the potential for resistance, in my opinion, based on the two lines, is high, or at least is there. So again, let's draw this so that we can understand what we're doing here. There's this, whoopsie. There's this line number 1. And then line number 2 is a backtest line, as such. And you can see the market is going to have to make a decision as to whether it has enough energy, enough power, enough intent to clear this line. If the cryptos can clear this line, then we need to entertain the possibility of more cryptos breaking out. And if in the short term this becomes resistance, lining up with let's say, effectively with the general market, then this is where we see a pullback in the cryptos and in the general stock market as well. Now, almost an irrelevant point, but I'm going to update this chart. While I was recording, the Dow has moved even higher, and the current high for the day is 36,000. Now, to be honest, in the late 90s, I did not conceive the idea of the Dow trading close to 40,000. Almost unbelievable. How we got here is also a mystery. It's like trying to watch grass grow. But anyway, so the Dow did spike there. As I said, not a big deal, but still doesn't change anything as far as this video is concerned. Now, I want to go back to the cryptos, and this is the total crypto market, because there's an aspect here of the cryptos that absolutely is one to watch. Absolutely, we need to watch this, because if the total crypto market can, and if it does move its monthly RSI back above RSI 69.1, if the crypto market as a group, as a whole, as a collective, if it moves above 69.1, then there's a good likelihood that the cryptos are going to have another fantastic run. If the monthly RSI can move above 69.1 for the total crypto market. And of course, it goes without saying that if the cryptos are going to recapture strong momentum as a group, they need to clear the monthly closing high from the month of October. Now, this also would mean that Ethereum, which is slightly positive for this month, so far about 5%, if Ethereum can move and sustain its monthly RSI above 69.1 in 2022 at some point, and followed by a breakout above the monthly closing high from November. So two things: RSI recapturing 69.1 and a fresh breakout above, let's call it 46,000 and change. Oh, no, 4,600. If it can do these two things, then the crypto markets are definitely going to be an area of the market that is going to be in the leadership. But for now, the main takeaway is we need, or let me say, crypto bulls need Ethereum and the total crypto market to move their monthly RSIs above 69.1. Hence, therefore, setting the stage for a powerful move. If we don't see Ethereum moving above 69.1, and if the total crypto market does not move above 69.1, then there's no bullish run. Which brings me to the last chart. As I mentioned, I was going to come back to the Dow, and this is the Dow monthly. If the Dow is going to go on a major run, it's going to have to move its monthly RSI above 69.1. Right now, the RSI is at 68.60-ish. Now, I need to address something pretty quickly here from an educational standpoint. I always talk about this number, so sometimes it's good to explain where it comes from. So we have three levels. On the RSI, we have three levels, essentially. We got 0. So I'm explaining where I get this number from. We got 0, we got 100. And between that, we have 50, right? We can agree that's, yes, basic. This is the RSI now. Between 50 and 100, there are certain levels. Again, between 50 and 100. Certain levels. We got 38.2 between 50 and 100. And at 38.2%, between 50 and 100, in other words, if you take 50 times 1.382, you end up bang at 69.1. And so it is. I am Eric with Mother.com, and I leave you as I found you, in the love and in the light of the one infinite creator. Go forth, therefore, rejoicing in the power and in the peace of the one creator, Adonai.